show as our Christmas week does continue in the heart of the 618. You know, we haven't talked to Riverbend Head Start for about a year now, and I'm so glad to get caught back up and to have Gene Howe, the president and CEO, and Matt East, the facilities and vehicles director, in the studio. How's Christmas season been for you two?
Busy.
Yeah.
Talk more about that.
Have you took a breath yet?
Yeah. After today, we will.
There you go.
But it's all good. I mean, we've got, we're reminded of community around this time of year because people call us, what can we do? You know, providing meals for families, gifts for kids that may not otherwise get them, gifts for adults.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise get them, you know, or just simple, a gift meaning like deodorant, laundry soap, you know.
Well, and see, that's just what I find so beautiful about where we live, really, in this community of ours, and being able to do some stuff with, you know, wrestling, traveling, and going to live in a different communities. There's just something about this this area where right around this time of the year, it just seems like it's all hands on deck. How can we help? And at, you know, Riverbend Head Start, you guys help all year long, and it seems like 2024 was a very, very busy year for the group as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're more of a conduit for help, if you will.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really all about community, and we are supported 6 ways from Sunday. During the coat drive season, we just gave away a little over 400 coats to kids that didn't have them, right? And we were getting toward the end, and our administrative secretary who manages that said, we're about 50 coats short. No more did she say that, and there was an envelope in the mail from a local donor. Thought you might need this for coach, and it just, you know, boom, it was right there. It rounded it out. So
it's incredible. I mean, that's truly incredible. And going back, you know, right when we first started talking here, you know, when you're talking about deodorant and you're talking about, you know, hygiene products and calling them and using the term gifts, because, you know, having community Christmas on and a couple of those similar, you know, kind of drives, you realize where the priorities are in that perspective change, because, you know, as a kid, you want that brand new Xbox, but for some in our community, they just want to make sure that they can, you know, have a good body wash. Right. You know, and that's something really good to point out. And, you know, as a nonprofit too, it's, you know, very challenging right now. And the last couple of years, I'm sure, have been kind of those ebb and flows, those up and down battles and challenges. Would you say that you're kind of back up to full strength? Has the COVID rebound happened for Riverbend Head Start?
You know, when this whole thing started, our operations director, Kathy Levins, came to me and said, so how long do you think we'll have to get things back to straight, you know? Because we kind of knew what was ahead of us.
Right.
We were going to close down. She goes, you think we'll get like a year? I said, I think this is more like a 5-year recovery process.
Right, 100%.
And, you know, almost right on the note, we're at 5 years. We're at 100% staffed, 100% enrolled for kids. Our critical outcomes for kids and families are right back there where they were pre-COVID.
Really?
So whether it be attendance or, you know, kids getting to the doctor for all their child exams, immunizations and things, dental visits, vision, you know, all those kind of things we need to make sure the kids have in place before they go to kindergarten. We're right back there. So that means the provider networks are back, our staff are back, the families are trusting again. A lot of things are falling back into place.
What do you accredit that to?
You know, probably a lot of good luck, to be honest.
Seriously, yeah.
But, you know, we're a mission-based organization, and I credit it to the staff. Matt's been here for 2 years.
Dedication.
He came in, and he said, this is not a job. This is... You see the kids' faces, and you're
it's
dedicated.
It's life. It really is. And you know, Matt, it's a great way to kind of transition into this, because you really did have a kind of an exploratory year in a way, going into some uncharted territory, launching this in-house in-house bus service.
Yes.
So take me through really this service, if you could, as a whole, and overview it for our audience.
So we run approximately 20 buses. We own 22 buses. We have, 11 routes now, 12 routes. Wow. We have one part-time driver, and the rest are full-time bus monitor and driver staff in each bus. I don't know how many miles we run, but we run from Collinsville, Edwardsville, 2 Granite City Schools. We have 6 locations, so we put a lot of miles on buses each day.
And not just a quick follow. I've been learning about this with the EMT services too. It's this different terrain too, because you're not just covering, you know, municipal and city streets. There's a lot of different geography.
Yes. Yeah, we're door to door from all the students. It's a challenging atmosphere every day, but we love the challenge.
You know, take me through how this kind of developed. How did it arise that you?
Well, we were contracted out for many years through different busing companies, and our last contract kind of fell through, didn't go as we expected. So Gene and I put our heads together, and we said, "Hey, what about doing our own busing?" And here we are.
So I think COVID was a real big player in that, because
it's a good point.
We had, we had a contract for many years That happened. Everybody sort of went away. We didn't get bus drivers back.
Oh.
So we started getting back a handful of bus drivers that really weren't there for the right reason. We had safety issues that concerned us. Matt had just come on as our facilities director, and he had some experience in transportation. And I promised him we wouldn't do anything massive his first year. I'm notorious for not being honest like that.
There you go. Welcome to the team. You know?
So I said, this guy's got experience, so we need to bring this in-house. It's not just running buses. It's learning a whole new industry.
Yeah.
Setting it up, making sure that you have people, and the policies and practices before you actually run routes.
Well, and that's a very, talking now, and I'm glad that we're at this point, after post-COVID, because, regardless of how you felt about the pandemic or whatever you wanted to call it, it was a major effect on so many industries. Everybody was affected by this. And, what I think's really incredible about this whole thing is, COVID really kind of made us really focus on being creative. How can we really do this? If we want it, we got to put our minds together and we'll pull out of this hole. And it really seems like you created better pathways with that because you weren't relying on a third party or any individual other than your staff, which are very good.
Well, it changed everything in terms of you can't just keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the last thing we really wanted to do was get into the transportation business.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But the effect on our services is tremendous. So when a child misses 10% or more, you can see an equal drop in their outcomes, preparedness for kindergarten.
Yeah.
If they're there 90% of the time or more, it's pretty good. Below that, it's not. So we had, we serve the families in the community. They're those that are most at risk. And within that population, there's a range of risk as well.
Yeah. So
the kids that were the least able to get to school, the most in need, weren't getting there by way of their parents being able to get them there.
Right.
So being down buses was a huge hit to our deliverables, really.
Yeah.
We were able to run our program. We were getting our funding, resources, all those kind of things. But when you don't see the kids in the classroom, you walk in, you see 10 or 12 kids instead of 17 or 18.
Yeah. Well,
huge difference.
Well, and on the backside of that too, this is something that I talked about on the show for a long time when I was on the radio in St. Louis. Is these kids that were not getting picked up. I'm sure you guys encountered this. Were those homes where that school option was the meal for the day, it was the safety for the day for some of these children, or maybe that secure space. I don't want to say safety, but that secure comfort zone that everything's going to be normal. And I mean, that really does decades of damage to that child for a long time because of those things that occur during that, stay at home period.
Right. Well, and these are, 80% of our folks work out of the house.
Yeah.
So, as much as we're a preschool program and a family development program, we're providing a child care outlet.
Right.
Right. 100%. Because if they get on the bus and they're at school for 6 hours, they ride the bus home, that's about a 7-hour day. Mm-hmm. You can almost always find an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent to say, I'll watch them for an hour here or there. But to cover the whole day, I'm not into that.
Well, exactly.
That's the challenge. So, so our kids, they needed quality child care, they needed socialization. Parents needed to get to work because they got bills to pay.
Right. You're 100% right. And Matt, with that too, just kind of piggybacking back and forth here on that same kind of bus topic, and that involves bringing in employees, and I'm sure making sure that you have the numbers and resources to get this done efficiently and make sure it's not, deterring from what was already in place. What was that process like?
Well, we had to build it from the bottom up. Our HR
Are you serious?
department went to work. We had to build job descriptions.
Wow.
Everything we learned together.
It would have been easy to take someone else's stuff and put our name on it, but that's not how we do it. We're a unique operation. We're Head Start. We're licensed by DCFS. This is anything but regular people transportation.
Right.
This is door to door. We have special needs kids. We have parents with limited mobility, and we have all kinds of unique situations. We can't just do group bus stops.
Exactly.
So that's where the expertise that Matt had. Thinking about what's it take to get someone a CDL license. I don't know. Never had to deal with it.
Right. Well, and how quickly do you feel like just in that process, you guys were feeling some success? Did you know pretty early that, hey, we have a good chance here of building this, or did it take some time?
I would say within 6-7 months, we had a really good grasp on everything.
Wow. That's incredible.
Started interviewing drivers, transportation coordinator, the routing specialist, bus driver trainer, all those positions.
So we were fortunate. We'd always had a turnkey operation. We had the facility. We had the buses. We needed someone to come in and staff it up, right?
Yeah.
So that we were a little bit ahead there. We had a fair idea. But, when you asked Matt about that, we started the process probably in October. Mm-hmm. We got approval from our board to get back into this business. And, we had hoped to have something up and running by January, but quickly I could see this is not possible.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of frustration. I think there was, but we had to do a lot of perspective management and say,
right,
in 3 months, we've hired a staff, we're training them. And I think the biggest focus for Matt and those guys, but we're seeing kids not come to school. Right. We got to do a little better. We got to do a little better.
Right.
I'm telling you, they were blazing. They were doing the best they could.
We wanted to do it right the first time.
Well, and see, that's the thing.
We took our time.
You need to, because why rush through it and then have to fix it for 6 or 7 months and deal with frustration and all the nightmares that could bring? Take a little bit more time, catch your breath, and do it, and really excel. And now, another big component, I think, of Riverbend Head Start is this home-based program with Early Head Start. What's truly, for the folks at home that maybe see the press releases, might see the articles, what is that difference? What's that kind of, maybe level 2, level 3 factor there that kind of separates the two programs?
So Early Head Start is for birth to 3-year-olds and pregnant moms, and then the Head Start program is for 3 to 5-year-olds. Okay. That's our center-based preschool. But, if you think about the real impact of Early Head Start, if you come from a family with generational dysfunction, if you will, or not good generational support, and you have your baby for the first time, who are you going to call? If there's no one really reliable to call or willing to help you, then you have these young parents who are kind of floundering. So our family advocates and our health team, they come in and they answer questions, and some of the things that you might think are the simplest questions are really a big deal to our parents, because the number one thing, they love their kids and they want to make sure they care for them. It's a huge fear for anybody that's had a child, am I doing the right thing?
Well, and it seems like, too, and you both know more about this than I ever will because you're living this, but it seems like once someone gets into that cycle, because they don't have that village, they don't have mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, the best friend, sister, brother, you name it, on the phone, it seems like once you, quote unquote, not literally, but in your mind, or let your child down that first time, that cycle starts to become quicker and quicker, and then you see a demeanor change in that family, and that dynamic for that individual start to change, just from what I've seen, in my life. And, it seems like once you're able to really break up that cycle of disparity and that cycle of just kind of demoralization, it really does change a lot for not just that child, but that entire family.
Yep. And when those parents build confidence, because
exactly,
they just need affirmation, because 9 times out of 10 they're doing the right thing, or they're really close to it because they're doing it out of love.
They don't know where to go at times.
Right.
We point them in the right direction. These are different resources. Take advantage of them.
Well, and see, people kind of get annoyed with me sometimes, because I'm one of those people that understand. I mean, I've not lived it. Probably never will live some of the things and the struggles that these folks are going through. But I will never fault somebody for a choice they make because of, circumstances like that. If you have a child to feed and you don't know what's going on with bills, you don't have mom here at home, there's so many things that really come into consideration. I'm sure that you guys encounter the gauntlet of it.
Just this year, and I won't give too many details, but we had a child who was really struggling on the bus. And, we didn't have a lot of information. So we said, this just doesn't sound right. What's going on? Come to find out, he'd witnessed his father die on his front porch.
Oh, my God.
So if you can imagine being a 3-year-old, or a 3 or 4-year-old sort of trying to process this, you're going to see some behaviors, But by interviewing the family, understanding what happened, understanding what's maybe motivating the behavior, that happened before school started, so we didn't know that. It was in recent history.
Oh, man.
Got them connected with other services. We're fortunate that we're in a community of a network of providers. So we do well because we have partners in the community, and they were connected with a local organization, Riverbend Family Ministries, the Refuge Program, and I think they're going to get some good support there.
Well, and see, it goes back to that bus, service too. And I think that this, just talking a little bit as we're starting to talk now, we're 15 minutes into this already, is it seems like, sorry, Melanie, that light turns off on its own. I'm so sorry. I'll turn it on during the break. 3, 2. Getting back into this bus service, and now that we're 15 minutes in and we're talking more and more about it, it seems like you're really, there's a invaluable factor to this, because you're able to see the child really from your own services, your own support staff, in that hands-on role, and you're really able to maybe understand a little bit quicker than maybe prior services when you're using third party. Does that make any sense? Am I onto something there?
Well, Matt's aware, but the bus drivers and monitors are the first ones to see the kids in the day, and they're the last ones to see them at the end of the day.
How important is that relationship?
Oh, it's tremendous. They get on the bus with a smile, hopefully, and they get off with a smile. I know each one of our drivers and monitors truly love their job, truly love the kids, and they love helping out.
What did you look for in your monitors and your drivers when you were hiring? I think that's something really interesting to look at.
Drivers, of course, you have to have a CDL, a little driving experience, but monitors, we just want looking for that nurturing person.
It's a 10 times different, I think, monitor situation.
Yes.
Do you guys have a moment to stick around so I can pay a bill?
Sure.
Hey, we'll take a quick break here as our daily show continues to roll around the corner in the heart of the 618. You stay there. We'll stay here on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, we have liftoff, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender.com, Roku TV, back with Riverbend Head Start. And really just kind of taking a look back at 2024 ahead of 2025 if you're just tuning in this morning. All right. So something I saw too the other day were some dental screenings, some health screenings, and it amazes me, when I started talking more about health and just lifestyle around the community, that there are a lot of folks that don't get annuals and don't get that preventative screening and health checkup. And to me, that's something that I can't wrap my head around completely. And if you could you fill me in on, how you're able to provide these screenings?
Yeah, so sort of the anatomy of a Head Start school year. The first part of the school year, August, September, we're enrolling kids, just kind of getting to know them, getting services running. Mm-hmm. And then between September, October, November, we're doing a lot of assessment and screening. So we're doing vision screening, hearing screening. We're getting oral dental visits, mm-hmm. physical exams. And then we're kind of seeing, okay, where is this child, where do they need? Do they need glasses? Do they need teeth restored? Right. Do they need some immunizations caught up? Do they, does the blood test indicate there's a high lead level or a low hemoglobin? Mm-hmm. All these things factor into your overall health. The dental piece, just, to lead with that, we'll spend about $150,000 a year getting teeth fixed. These are 3 and 4 year olds.
Wow.
So, we've had treatment plans that might be up to $8,000 or $9,000, right?
That's
because
incredible.
kids have exposed nerve roots, ton of pain. I'm a wimp. I don't know about Matt, one of the dentists.
Shoot. I am the biggest baby that God ever created, man. I'm telling you that. To me, though, I mean, you're saying those things, and it's just, I hear that, and it's, $150,000 on dental work. And it's like, why can't we give you guys $300,000 and help these kids even more? Because, we always see all this money in the news on, where's it going? How do we know where it's going? But investing in youth like this does so much because it breaks up that cycle of lack of trust. And that goes so much more than anything else in life will ever take you.
That's the cool part. None of that comes from the Head Start grant. That's all from community support.
That's even more incredible.
We're not funded for that one, right?
See, I like how Matt kind of looked at me. He's like, I know what Gene's getting ready to hit CJ with. He knew it, But what does that mean to you as an organization to know where that money comes from? I mean, because that's an even more incredible feat than at that point.
Well, to me, the coolest thing, and I always tell donors when they donate to us, number one, they express an interest in our mission.
Right.
But number two, they express a trust in us to deliver it. Mm-hmm. That's pretty huge.
It is.
Right?
Well, because you're literally taking the weight of the world and weight of families on your shoulders. I mean, truly are. Wow, this is so important. And now, when it comes to, transporting and just getting back just to the bus side of things, just doing our bounce back here, I'm so fascinated about how you handle the transportation of students, because obviously things on a bus, if we've ever ridden on a school bus or any type of, transportation like that, there's a lot of different conversations, a lot of different things happening there. What does that transportation kind of look like on your end?
From day to day, these parents of these children, you never know if they're going to move, so we fight that battle every day. We don't know exactly if they're going to up and move on us, so we might have a new address pick up from day to day.
Does that happen?
Yes.
Flexibility. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Flexibility.
Housing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that.
Yep. But we have a router that does the best that she can, but it's a challenge every day.
Well, speaking of that, don't we have the best of the best in our transportation?
Yes, we do.
Do you? You got best of the best this year?
One of the best bus drivers, Elizabeth Hill.
Congratulations, Elizabeth. Seriously, that's really cool.
Yes.
Well,
we have a dedicated staff.
You have to. I mean, that's something I would have never have thought of is, yesterday we just picked up, little Johnny, quote unquote, from Elm Street, and now no one's here.
Right.
Wow. How big is compassion in that role, too? Because I'm sure that you have to be patient.
It's huge. It's very huge. And they're all very understanding.
Wow. This is incredible. I mean, truly incredible. So I understand that the main office that we've all come to know the location of is going to be taking a little bit of a move. With that being said, you're staying in Alton?
Yes.
Do we know where we're moving to and when?
We're moving to the old former Metro Supply building in the plaza
down the road.
Yeah, 1848 East Broadway.
Look at you, no paper needed. How about that? So, what is this office move going to mean? Is it going to give you guys some more space to work, some more room to grow, and all of that good stuff?
So yes to all that, but so we've been down there for 30 years already with the center.
Right.
Now we're going to occupy the other leg of the property, right?
Makes sense. Okay.
And a few acres of green space so we can expand our playground. So it means a lot of things there. It puts us next to the operation, our biggest center in the county. We serve all throughout Madison County, which I don't know if you knew about that, but
yeah.
And we're also going to relocate our bus shed there too. So we're going to consolidate some spaces, and this is the big story. I think. We've been thinking for a long time. We've been working on it since 2019. Mm-hmm. We've been behind in salaries.
Yeah.
So we have educators that are as qualified as any other educator out there. They have a bachelor's degree. They have a personal education license, that kind of thing. So we're trying to stay competitive with our local districts. We're behind.
You know what?
To be honest.
I think that, but see, that's something that's good to note. And I think that's good for the public to understand too. And not to know someone's salary ever to be nosy,
right.
But to know that your folks are here strictly on passion and pride and the love for people.
They're educationally legit.
Yeah.
They're certified, but they're staying with us. Now, at the end of the day, everybody's got to pay bills, right? So we know as management, we have to do what we can to catch up. So the idea is we get this building. We were able to get this through funding from the Office of Head Start. So we're going to purchase the property, renovate the property. That's going to free us up of close to $375,000 a year lease money.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
That's
right. So the plan was put that back into the program, salaries, right? Which is pretty close to where we're at. If you looked at, we have 180 employees. If we reach parity across the boards, that's about the number. Wow. Well, just when we were getting ready to celebrate that, our insurance came back this year with about a $400,000 increase. So that might be bad news, but to our staff, that's good news because we have a very good insurance plan. We went to the self-funded realm a couple of years ago, away from the fully funded companies. Our staff were able to use their insurance. 3 years ago, they weren't going to the doctor because they couldn't afford the copay. They couldn't afford the copay for the meds. They couldn't afford the specialists. They couldn't afford the MRI.
Yep.
Right now, we have a direct-to-employer agreement with BJC through our self-funded insurance. People are going to the doctor.
That's huge.
They're at work, they're happy, they're healthy. We want them to be healthy for our kids and healthy for their kids.
Well, and see, that's been such a big conversation lately because we all know that person in our life that'll be coughing up their right lung for 3.5 months and refuse to go get it even looked at because they're worried about copay and all of that. They're already working 80 hours, a pay period, or 90, 100, and that 175, 125, whatever it is, copay could cripple them that time around the horn. I wanted to talk about these safe sleep kits too. I think these are really cool. So let's just kind of break it down for our audience. What are they and what is the true purpose of this safe sleep kit?
So this goes back a few years. We did some research for safety and we discovered a couple of things that we weren't funded for, not even charged with dealing with, but you couldn't walk away from. Okay? In our region, too many kids were dying because of unsafe sleep. They're co-sleeping with parents, infants, toddlers, getting rolled over on, that kind of thing. For whatever reason, we're in a population pocket that's second only highest to Chicago. And maybe this was researched 5 or 6 years ago, so maybe it's improved. But our health team said, we can't walk away from this. Even though it's not part of our standards, part of our requirements, we can't walk away from this. So we began to sort of put together a program plan. And then we said, okay, once we put together a program plan, let's get it funded. So I'd love to give a shout out to the local Riverbend Rotary.
Good job,
because
guys.
They've been I'm part of the Rotary, but they've been supporting us big time with car seats. That was the other thing. Kids in our region were getting injured or killed too many times because they weren't properly restrained. So we're able to buy car seats and safe sleep kits. Safe sleep kits are the coolest thing because it can save a life for a very small amount of money. What it simply is education about safe sleep. Like what to and what not to put in an infant's crib. You don't want to put a lot of soft toys because they get their face in that's going to suffocate them. And when we talk about co-sleeping and why you don't do that. So what this does is provides it's basically a portable cribette, but it's that child's space to sleep no matter where you're at.
Gotcha.
And if you have to move today, take it with you. And once you educate parents, none of our parents love their babies. They're not going to do those things that they understand. Oh, okay, we didn't realize that. You roll over on the kid. Now, everybody's kind of aware of that, but you don't realize the prevalence of it.
You don't.
It's sort of when it happens. Now, we have a lot of families who are housing insecure. So maybe they're doubled up. So your family gets this bedroom, yours gets this bedroom.
Right.
So now baby doesn't have his or her own room. But our goal is to get them their own safe sleep space.
Well, and then on top of that, too, you add in the factor of work and life and everything else. And if sometimes parents are just, exhausted after, you're laying down and you don't realize you're falling asleep until you do, With that being said, it's been a great conversation and really appreciate it, guys. But before I let you go, 2025 right around the corner, new administration in Washington. Do you anticipate it affecting, early childhood programs like a Head Start?
So, there's a possibility. I think we've kind of, shaken up the 8 ball. And the magic word that comes to the window is here and now.
Gotcha.
There's no 2 more powerful words than here and now. We're going to focus on what we can do right here and right now. I will say under this administration, the last time Head Start did get increases.
Really? Wow.
So, the best predictor of future behavior is past.
Yep.
And we're going to hope for the best there. I think that probably the most likely case is state block grant funding, where the money would go to the state and then we'd write for a grant there, which we're in that mix already.
So before I let you go, and this question's for both of you, how important, and really, on both sides of this conversation, how important is the advocacy work, and not just from your guys' organization, because obviously that's paramount, but advocacy work from our state and federal legislators, because it seems like, it's great to, advocate and let the world know about what you guys are seeing hands-on, but you have to have that bureaucratic shoulder to lean on too, and is that happening?
It does. We've got a lot of folks who advocate, but I think the biggest advocacy piece for us, if you're into government efficiency, we're the most efficient government program ever. We're the most efficient helping program. So out of every dollar you donate, 87 cents right now is going to the actual cause. We have the lowest administrative costs around. So we don't design top heavy administrations. We're as lean as we can get, but yet we build enough program support to make sure that we're putting together a quality operation. Yep.
That's incredible.
So if it goes block grant, the state's going to get some of it, then we'll get some of it. Let's keep most of those dollars going to the babies and the families that need them in the communities that they're at.
I 100% agree. And Matt, anything else before I let you go, sir?
No, it's a great place to work. You know, we're always looking for bus drivers and monitors.
How do we apply? How do we call?
550 Landmarks Boulevard. I know another address, 618-463-5946, and reach out and we'll get you an application.
Really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you so much for it today. We'll take a quick break. More of our daily show continues right around this commercial break on RiverBender.com.